Hello, it is Monday, August 9th, 2021. I'm Chris Remo, and welcome back to my New York Times Crossword Daily Solve. It's a Monday puzzle, so shouldn't be too bad. We're getting into the work week. I've got my new coffee cup here. Yesterday, after that long Sunday solve, I ventured out into the pouring rain to go to the London Transport Museum Depot Open Day, which is a huge, absolutely massive train depot packed full of vintage buses and train cars and things like that. And it was incredibly wonderful and interesting. And I bought this temperature changing mug, which has a London tube map that is revealed when it is full of hot liquid. And as the mug cools, the image changes to an inverted color scheme night tube service map. So perhaps over the course of this solve, as the volume of coffee decreases and the temperature of the coffee decreases, the mug will change. This is the first time I've used the mug. Although given it's a Monday puzzle, I hope that doesn't happen because that would be a bad sign for what is supposed to be the easiest puzzle of the week. And this puzzle is by Alex Eaton Salners, edited as always by Will Shorts. And I think today I'm going to pretty much get right into it. There was, I guess, one correction. Not correction. There was a bit of context from yesterday's puzzle about the little red hen, who, as Psycho Penguin points out, Little Red Hen is trying to harvest wheat and bake bread, but no one will help her when she asks. Every other animal says, "Not I," until they want the baked bread, when she throws those words back in their faces and eats all of the bread herself. A classic fable of the American work ethic. So now that that's been explained, I do remember that story from my childhood, The Little Red Hen, and you may remember it from yesterday's puzzle. So anyway, let's move on to today's Monday puzzle by Alex Eaton Salners, edited as always by Will Shorts. As I said, are we ready to get started? I say we are. Okay. Places where surgeries are performed for shorts. Those would be operating rooms, ORs. Not in any way in dialect. This could be know-how. Could be. Let's look at the crosses. Classic wafer brand. Well, a Necca wafer seems pretty classic. A Nebraska native. So this could be referring to a tribe, potentially, that geographically hails from the area of Nebraska. Could be the Oto, O-T-O-E, but I'm not 100% certain, so let's keep looking. Carries a tune in a way. Well, one might hum a tune. A poem of praise, classic. I think as we discussed the other day regarding Keats the Odist, ode is a very, very common form when it comes to crossword clues. Hilton competitor. Could be Westin, international hotel chain. A practice piano piece is an étude, which I assume that comes from the French to study. A piano piece that is used to sort of help a student practice an étude. So this does look like Oto, doesn't it? Spiral shapes. Could this be helices, plural of helix? Let's keep looking around. Gets past as an obstacle. Overcome. So hopefully we will overcome the challenge of this crossword without too much struggle on a Monday. Pick me, pick me. Could simply be oh, pick me. Wake-up calls played on bugles. This is réveillés, right? Is it spelled like the French? Waking up in French, is it spelled the same way? I'm not actually sure, but I would guess that it is. Sneaky laugh. A sneaky laugh is probably a H-E-H, I would think. Twinkies have a long one. So Twinkie, the commercially produced confection, has a long shelf life. So this does look like helices, doesn't it? What good soufflés do. Well, a good soufflé rises, but what is this? If so, oh, sorry. In that case, if so, if this, well, an O goes here, and in that case, this clue is not Necca, it is Necco. Sorry about that. Necco wafers. So good soufflés rise. And a Vogue competitor, so this is referring to the magazine Vogue, a competitor of which is Elle magazine. Few bits of borrowed French in this puzzle. We've got étude, réveiller, Elle, and unlike some puzzles, these are words that are loan words. You know, they're used in English even though they're of French origin. Blank Lily and Company. I don't remember what this is, but it looks like it could be Eli, and I think it is Eli. That rings a bell. I can't recall what it is, but it certainly is Eli because a sinuous swimmer is an eel. The thing I learned recently is that for the longest time, for a very long time, humans basically couldn't figure out where eels came from. A very unusual fish, and I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail about eels right now, but it's worth looking up. Where do eels come from? Might have been the article I read. Omitted, left out. I left out quite a bit more detail about eels just now because you don't need that on this solve. Blue-green shade. It could be teal, rhymes with eel. And a worrisome directive from a boss. I think this is probably see me. In other words, often a sort of foreboding invitation to a tete-a-tete. A warrior. Combatant, looks like. Someone who participates in combat. A website for techies. I suspect this is CNET, which probably stands for the computer network, I suppose. Never really thought about it before. Spicy. Something is spicy, it is hot. A raging blaze. Left out is probably wrong. It could be left off. Omitted, left off the register. Because a raging blaze must be an inferno. This is, when I'm solving Monday puzzles, I tend to be, and Tuesday puzzles really as well, I tend to be much more, I'm more likely to simply put in an answer that might be correct, that might not be correct, but might be, probably is. Whereas on a more difficult day, I'm much more likely to skip that, even if I'm fairly confident, and come back and wait for a cross, because you get things like this, where this could have just as easily been left out. And on a Monday puzzle, I basically trust myself to find the crosses and correct my mistake without too much worry. But on a more difficult day, that type of thing gets more difficult, because everything around the puzzle is just a bit trickier and more ambiguous. In a Monday puzzle, there will be enough things that are unambiguous that usually I can fix those mistakes. So I don't know, maybe I shouldn't be doing that. Maybe that's a bad habit that I shouldn't be imparting on you. I'm not sure. One tweeting about football. A referee who tweets with a whistle. I would think that means, and I think it's sort of alluding to tweeting on Twitter, but a bit of very, very gentle misdirection for a Monday puzzle. A period in human history after bronze was supplanted in toolmaking, surely that's the Iron Age, where pirates roam the high seas. Where dead men tell no tales. Private eye, quaintly. This came up in a recent puzzle, I believe. Detective. It's one of a few different sort of early mid-century nicknames for private eyes and detectives that can come up in a crossword. Liberté blank fraternité, Haiti's motto. Well, that is also France's motto. Liberty, equality, and brotherhood. That's what that is. It translated to English, obviously. Zaps, in a way. I think this is lasers, as in zaps with a laser, lasers. Informal get-together, or it could be a session. A quick sesh. Your boss might ask you to a quick sesh with a see me. Sesh sounds more positive than the see me worrisome directive. Visual jokes in openings of The Simpsons, a tradition since the first episode. I think this would be the couch gags, because it says visual jokes, plural. In the opening titles to The Simpsons, in which the conclusion of each introduction is different. When the family all sits down on the couch, there's a unique joke in each episode. Composition of many reefs. Well, many reefs are coral reefs. The Phantom of the Blank. This is surely the Phantom of the Opera. Say, utter. I utter, hopefully, mainly useful tips on this channel. To not again is to retie. That's fun. Not again, but in this case, not with a K. Venue with tiered seating is an arena. Birds that do things just for the fun of it. Larks. So a lark is a kind of bird, and if one does something on a lark, it is just for the fun of it. In fact, I think when I first tweeted about this series on the very first day I did it, I think I said I was doing it on a lark, and I wasn't sure if I would continue past that first day. And it looks like I have, and I think I've done 30 or 40 of these so far. Place to sell homemade crafts online. I guess that's Etsy. Is it? Etsy.com? No. Maybe it's, what is that? Etsy store? Must be Etsy store. Etsy being an online storefront that anyone can sell their own wares through. Enchilada topping. Could be salsa. Let's keep looking around. Opposite of 35 across. So the opposite of left off, very clever, would be right on. That's nice. Just a nice little bit of construction flourish, I suppose, in a relatively straightforward Monday puzzle. Divisions of a subdivision. It could be lots. In other words, a subdivision would be divided into lots. A lot of French in this episode. Blank États-Unis. So this is the United States, and so we want the plural form of the, which is les, L-E-S. The S of which is silent unless it's followed by a vowel, as in this case, les États-Unis. So that would be pronounced. The New Yorker cartoonist Chast, that's Roz Chast with a Z. Child's Play. It is a breeze. Hopefully, we're all finding this puzzle a breeze. Blank Bird, many-time WNBA All-Star. I don't know. You'll be shocked to learn I don't know this sports clue. Jill Biden blank Jacobs. I assume this is going to be nay, another French word. Nay meaning born, so Jill Biden born Jacobs. That must be her name prior to her marriage to President Joe Biden. It rhymes with fire appropriately. Well, we know it'll rhyme with fire, so there'll probably be an R here, and it looks like that is pyre. In other words, a type of fire, like a funeral pyre. A radar sound is a ping when the blip is approaching on the radar. A frisbee, e.g., a frisbee, for instance, is a disc. Here we go. We do have a little bit of a theme here. We have the opposite of high seas are the lowlands. Very, very nice, very clever. Hillary, who climbed Mount Everest with Tenzing Norgay. I think this is Edmund Hillary, and I think it's Edmund with a U rather than M-O. Oh, here we go, another opposite. Opposite of 17 across, overcomes. Well, the opposite of overcomes will be undergoes, won't it? Very nice. Enchilada topping, maybe. Sour cream, I see. And then what was this? Oh, Sue Bird, many-time WNBA All-Star. Well, that tracks. Induces to pull a prank, maybe. Well, if you induce someone to pull a prank, perhaps you have dared them to do so. Dares. Regarding. As to. As to this puzzle, it's a fun solve and it's going pretty quickly. A moody genre of music or fashion is emo, there we go, and a pig follower in the Chinese zodiac is the rat. I wouldn't have necessarily known that, but the order that is, but it seems plausible. A Hyundai compact, so this is a model of car. An Elantra is a Hyundai model. Not so much would be less. Not so much challenge relative to yesterday's puzzle, less challenge than yesterday's puzzle. Actress Falco. This is Edie Falco, I think probably best known for The Sopranos. A gown is a dress. Oslo's country is Norway. And wham or bam is a noise. 2014 Ava DuVernay drama. I think she directed Selma, didn't she? Leader of the Three Stooges. I am not conversant enough with the Three Stooges to know they had a leader, but I must assume this is Moe. And the beginning is the onset, which is not where we are in this puzzle. Wishing sites are wells, wishing wells. You throw a coin in. Have you noticed that it seems as though in recent years, people throw coins into literally any public body of water whatsoever, including places that are very inappropriate to have coins thrown in them, where it could be ecologically unsound. And often even there are signs saying, please stop throwing coins into our lake or whatever. Odd thing. Look at that. My mug is transforming into the night service of the tube. Well, that's fun for me. A public transport dork. Flexible blackjack card is an ace, which can be worth what, a 1 or a 10 score-wise in blackjack? A place to go for the highlights. You might get highlights in your hair at a salon. And that is the puzzle. That is the New York Times crossword puzzle for Monday. It was a pretty straightforward one. I don't really think there was anything in there that was a big challenge. I would think that even if there were things you struggled with, I could see etude not being obvious to some folks. I mean, there's certainly things in here that wouldn't necessarily be obvious to everybody, but I suspect there's enough. Auto, this one might be tough. If you don't know auto or etude, that cross actually would be a tricky one. But I would say for the most part, you could probably get this puzzle with crosses, I would say, by knowing enough of the clues. And that's what you want on a Monday puzzle. That's exactly what you want on a Monday puzzle. So very well done, Alex Eaton Salners. And I liked this fun theme that ran through it. Sorry, I keep saying obstacle because it's written here. Opposites. We've got overcomes and undergoes. We've got right on and left off. We've got high seas and lowlands. And that might have been it. And I think, as you'll notice, so we talked about symmetry yesterday in the puzzle and in crosswords generally. And this is a very classic looking grid, in my experience, I suppose, in that it is rotationally symmetrical. You would have to rotate, not flip, this puzzle in order to sort of recreate, to sort of identify its symmetry. And in addition to the positioning of the black squares being rotationally symmetrical, it is also the case that the theme answers are rotationally symmetrical. In other words, the overcomes and undergoes pair are rotationally symmetrical to one another in the grid. They are in the same position in that sort of diagonal disposition there. And same with lowlands and high seas and left off and right on, which are both vertically and rotationally symmetrical. So anyway, doesn't really mean anything when it comes to solving the puzzle, but it's nice. There's just something satisfying, I think, about that symmetry, particularly when the theme also ties in. And then finally, I would say the big thing to point out about this puzzle would be all of the French that's in it. We've got réveillés here for the wake-up calls played on bugles. We have étude for a practice piano piece. We have Ney for born, Jill Biden, Ney Jacobs. I think there was more. We have égalité, a part of Haiti's motto and France's motto, liberté, égalité, fraternité. And that's just, we have les États-Unis, we have the plural definite article, les. And French comes up not infrequently in the New York Times crossword, as you've probably noticed at this point. Égalité is very similar to an English word, obviously, but the word like né, very, very useful, I would suspect, for a constructor, because it's got those two E's, it's short, it's got common letters, and vowels are always helpful in a crossword. And so you'll get this pretty often. And then actually we see il fulfilling precisely the same function, actually, in a rotationally symmetrical position, which is two E's and a consonant. So it's useful solving the New York Times crossword puzzle to start to recognize some of these French words and be able to reproduce them. And you don't need to speak French or anything. I mean, I barely speak French. It just gets to be a matter of vocabulary. And the thing is, in this puzzle, with the arguable exception of égalité and lait, I suppose, these other words are loan words into English. They're not just French words. So nez, étude, and I'm forgetting where else these things were, but certainly a few of the réveiller, yeah. These are loan words into English, so they're not just French vocabulary. Anyway, useful stuff to know. It's a Monday. We've wrapped up the puzzle, so I will move on and let you get on with your day. Quickly, I will remind you that if you are enjoying this series, you should subscribe to the YouTube channel so that you see these videos when they go up each morning. I mean, you can watch them whenever you like, of course, but at least you'll know. At least you'll know it's there, waiting for you. And if you think you know someone who might enjoy this series, either online or in your real life, to the extent that your real physical life has returned to anything approaching normality at this point, why not tell them about it? They might like it too. And finally, if you're particularly enjoying this series, and you would like to be personally invested in its ability to continue indefinitely, then why not toss me a couple of quid or a few bucks over on my Ko-fi page? Although I learned yesterday from a video I was watching on the Ko-fi website that it's actually pronounced Kofi, I think. Just sort of odd because it's spelled like and makes me think of Kofi Annan, the former UN Secretary General. So maybe I'll just keep saying coffee. Anyway, my link to that page where you can make a small donation of your choice, either on a one-off or recurring basis, is linked in the description field underneath this video. So thank you so much to everybody who has done so. It means a lot to me. And with that, I will let you get on with your Monday, kicking off your week. Hope you enjoyed this. Have a great rest of your day. I will see you tomorrow. Take care.